Friends, good morning everybody. This is Shamal here. Today is 23rd June, Wednesday, 5:56 a.m. Indian Standard Time. So I'm going to speak about Rabindranath Tagore, whichever way we say it, কবিগুরু রবীন্দ্রনাথ আমাদের কবি, আমাদের ভালোবাসার কবি। তার সম্পর্কে সবাই সব কিছু জানে, অনেকে অনেক কিছু জানে। নতুন জেনারেশন রবীন্দ্রনাথকে কিভাবে জানে আমি জানি না, তবে আমার যেটুকু রবীন্দ্রনাথের প্রতি আমার জানা আছে বা যেটুকু জানার চেষ্টা করেছি ছোটবেলা থেকে, কিছু কবিতা, কিছু তার লিটারেচার, নাট্য নিয়ে ডিফারেন্ট জায়গাতে কবিতা আবৃত্তি করা ওর নাটক করা, কিছু লিটারেচার পড়া, ভিতরে গভীরভাবে যাওয়ার চেষ্টা কোনো কালে। It was very difficult to know Tagore. It's such a vast like ocean. His life, his creation, literature, many things. It's very, very difficult. Because I am not a student of arts. So, because of interest of my poetry, I have tried to understand his poetry, songs, his write-up, different time to time. That is done on childhood. Afterwards, maybe he has read something about his biography, few things, right? It is not like proper dissection was not there, proper analysis was not there. And we know he's a great poet. We love his literature, his creation, write-up poetry. But now after many years, I'm trying to analyze Rabindranath, his creative literature, little different way. That is called kind of a dissection, putting my dialectical thought process, my chaos theory of understanding, analyzing my rational thought process, putting into my processor. I'm trying to analyze it. So those analysis purely my personal analysis. It might not echo the everybody what they talk about Rabindranath. I am not a critic. I am an analyst. I'm trying to analyze the whole thing over here. That is the whole idea of telling all those things. Let me come back the Tagore part. First of all, to understand Tagore, let me, for the general viewer, Tagore is the youngest of 14 children in the Jorashako mansion of parents Rabindranath Tagore and mother Sharoda Devi. He is the 14th children. This point to be noted, he is the 14th children of Jorashako Thakur Badi. This is number one. And after that he is going the secret thread, that is Uponayan, what you call it. He belongs to a Brahmin family. That is what it is. That is the secret thread ceremony. At the age of 11, that is going on. After that, Tagore and his father left Calcutta at 14 February 1873 to a tour, India tour probably, and served months visiting his father's Santiniketan estate and Amritsar before reaching to Himalaya. Hill station at Dalhousie. Everybody knows about this place, is very famous. If everybody is familiar with Tagore's biography, this Dalhousie area is very, very famous area there because he belongs to a very, very rich family, wealthy family. So Tagore read there itself biographies, studied history, astronomy, modern science, and Sanskrit, and examined the classical poetry of Kalidaso. That is, Kalidas, you everybody knows about the Kalidas, Sanskrit poet, come philosopher Kalidas. In 1877, he arose to notability when he composed several works, including long poem set in a Maithili style. It's a pioneer by Vidyapati. Vidyapati is also one of the great poet. Is a Maithili poet. So there are many poet that is influenced Rabindranath even for folk songs, many other things in a different time to time. He was writing poetry at very early age. So at early age, he wrote in 1877 the Vikharini, the beggar woman. So that's he has written that part. So then after that, Rabindranath left for Silai Daha, then moved to Shantiniketan, West Bengal, to find an ashram which would grow to include a marble floored prayer hall, right? Which you call it the mandir, and experiment school groves of trees, gardens, and a library. There, Tagore's wife and two of his children died, right? That everybody knows that Tagore's children's they died at very early age. His father also died on 98th January 1905. He began receiving monthly payments as a part of inheritance. He also received income from Maharaja of Tripura for sales of his family jewelry. So try to understand they are very, very rich family. His seaside bungalow in Puri and the other royalties like 2000 rupees from his works that he has got. Those works gained him a large following among Bengali and foreign readers and he published such works as Noivedya. You know the Noivedya that is written in 1901, Khea, that is also a Bengali collection here in 1906. And while translating his poems into free verse, right, in different languages, he was also trying to write his different literature in different languages. So on 14 November 1913, Tagore learned that he had won the Nobel Prize in Literature. According to the Swedish Academy, it was given due to his idealistic, for Western readers, accessible nature of a small body of his translated material, including 1912 Gitanjali song offerings. In 1915, Tagore also accepted knighthood from British Crown. Now here's some question. Rabindranath Tagore got Nobel Prize in 1913. As I have told many times, it's a collection of poetry. He has not got the Nobel Prize for his all the write-up he has done. It's basically some poetry that is translated from Bengali to English, and it's a collection of poetry translated, not in the original form of Bangla. And W.B. Yeats has written the introductory part. So, if there are few questions, the gray areas I have told in my many videos, if Tagore has to be given Nobel Prize on the basis of his pure work, why the translated version is accepted, that is my question I have raised. And why the introductory part has to be written by none other than the famous poet T.S. Eliot. Sorry, not T.S. Eliot, it is W.B. Yeats. I am extremely sorry. W.B. Yeats has written the introductory part. So those two things are not very clear, even though I told that Bengali as a language, or Bangla as a language, was very famous during 1913, and it was recognized. World has recognized Bangla as a language, as a communication. So probably the Swedish Academy of Science or Nobel Foundation could have exercised the wisdom of recognizing his original Bengali creation on whatever he has written in Bangla. And the fourth point, what I want to say over here, translating poetry from the original mother language to English language, it was a very kind of a difficult task. The original meaning is lost in translation in many ways. That is what I was trying to tell many ways, that original thing is being lost in translation. So friends, what I was trying to convey over here is very simple. Probably world might have got the taste of his literature, but they have not got the real taste of the original writing or creation, whatever he has done. And I have tried to explain in my earlier videos that how where the mind is without fear and where the head is high. I have tried to cover up or read out both the poetry together in Bangla and in English. There are a lot of difference between the original to translation part. Initially, the Bharat Barsha is not mentioned in this original translation part. If translation has to be there, then why there are certain elimination of very important names over there, where actually is coming his nationalistic view, and while he is writing in English, in Bangla, he is mentioning Bharat Barsha in his poetry, and in his original translation, his Bharat Barsha terminology is missing. He is talking about the whole world. So there are some missing link has to be understood. So that is what I was trying to tell about. Nothing more about the whole thing, and my concern towards that translating poetry from one language to another language. It's very difficult to do that, and the entire meaning sometime lost in translation. So friends, coming back in 1921, Tagore and his agricultural economist Leonard Emist set on the Institute for Rural Reconstruction, which is later named Shantiniketan, a kind of a place, abode of peace. That is what it is, you call it. It is near a particular village called Sural village near the ashram at Shantiniketan, though it Tagore sought to provide an alternate to Gandhiji's symbol and protest based on Swaraj movement, which he denounced, right? And he went to many countries that time to conceptualize this his Shantiniketan, and got lot of donors to make it. He went to US before establishment of this Shantiniketan that is known. And Tagore, if you analyze Tagore from 1932 to 1941, in the last stage of his life, Tagore generally was also involved in freedom movement in many ways. He was closely watching what Gandhiji, Subhash Chandra Bose was doing. He was not happy with Mahatma Gandhi's non-violence philosophy and the philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi not to accept the British production. So what Gandhiji's non-violence movement was talking about, to give up everything what British was producing. So Subhash Rabindranath is having different kind of opinion about all those things. He was trying to tell that whatever good things are there for British, for Europeans that time, we should accept. But Mahatma Gandhi was totally in favor of Indianization, his salt movement and other things. Those things are known to everybody. So Tagore remained the public limelight, publicity, including Gandhiji, for that is what I told, for stating that a massive 15 January 1934 earthquake in Bihar so constituted driven retribution for for the Dalits and all those things in this earthquake. Many things had happened. He also mourned the socio-economic decline, whatever in Bengal, and epidemic poverty. Everybody knows about whatever happened that time. Is poverty is gripping up in Calcutta, and many things that thing had happened during end of 1942, your Bengal famine. That is at last stage of life, but initiation has been done at beginning. Tagore has got his sharp voice. He has raised many issues about that time, about the poverty uh, and other issues. So another thing is probably Tagore that time compiled 15 volumes of writings, including prose, poems, works. That is in 1932. Punoscho, right? His writing says Shaptak 1935, and 1936 he is also writing Patrapur. So many things are coming out in this particular time, and along with that he is also traveling. He has traveled to many countries, so almost close to 20-25 countries he is visiting, from Russia to whole Europe to whole US, many countries. He is a well-traveled person. So, and from 1878 to 1932, Tagore visited more than 30 countries of 5 continents, right? Nearly those trips were crucial, is familiarizing non-Bengali audiences to his works and spreading his political ideas. That is more important. For example, in 1912, he took a safe of his translated work to England, where they impressed missionaries, and where the kind of a Anglo-Irish poet, everybody might be knowing the William Boulter Yeats, that is W.B. Yeats, Ezra Pound, Robert Bridges, Ernest Rice, Thomas Surge, so and other all kind of great poet in front of them. He had got a chance for interaction. So as I have told you earlier, indeed the Yeats wrote his preface of his English translation of Gitanjali. So again, Dr. Andrew, who joined Tagore in Santiniketan, so all those visits make him a perfect person in terms of developing human relation with the great people. So what I am trying to tell over here, so he could galvanize his idea. So all those things helped him to develop Shantiniketan in a much better place. So Tagore's last 4 years, 1937 to 41, were marked as a kind of a chronic pain and two long periods of illness. This begins when Tagore was kind of a lost consciousness in late 1937. He extended kind of a thing. He was losing his consciousness. This was followed 3 years later in 1940 in a similar spell from which he never recovered. That is what this thing. His health was deteriorating. Like the poetry of Tagore wrote in these years are like amongst the finest one, and he's kind of distinctive for his work related to concept of death. Many spiritual things he has written, those most profound and kind of a mystical, like kind of an experiments of his life and journey. There are many things, many philosophical things came into the picture. After extended suffering, Tagore died on 7th August in 1941. That is 12/7. In Bengali, it is the year 1348, in an upstairs room of Jorasako, is Jorasako Thakur Badi, in which he was raised at his childhood. His death anniversary is still mourned in public functions held across Bangla-speaking world. So this is a small story about his life, his write-up, his political views, all those things, right? And many things he has done it. Like in 1927, I'm coming back little bit. 27, Tagore, his two companions went to 4-month tour for Southeast Asia, visiting Bali, Java, Kuala Lumpur, Malacca, Penang, Siam, and Singapore. So whenever he goes along with the other friends, very close friends. So his travel laws from tour were collected into works. Jatri, this is a famous. Jatri means traveler. In early 30s, he left Bengal for nearly a year-long tour of Europe and US. On his return to UK, while his paintings were being exhibited in Paris and London, he stayed at a friend's settlement in Birmingham, in UK. There is a place, Birmingham, and there he wrote his famous, that is Hibbert lecture for the University of Oxford. So everybody must be knowing that he has delivered lecture also in University of Oxford. Is mostly dealt with the idea of humanity of our God, or in the divinity of man, of the eternal things. And he spoke at London annual Quaker gathering, there, these addressing relations between the British and Indians, a topic he would grapple with over the next 2 years. Tagore spoke of a dark chasm of aloofness. He later visited Aga Khan III, stayed at Dartington Hall, then toured to Denmark, Switzerland and Germany from September 1930, then to Soviet Union, lastly in April. And he is also meeting the great scientist Einstein in Germany. Okay. That is one important part, that is meeting with Einstein. Lastly, in April 32, Tagore, who was with the legends and his works in Persian mystic Hezef, right? No, you know that the great writer mystic Hezef was invited as a personal guest to Shah Reza Shah of Iran. He also traveled to Iran. Such an extensive travel allowed Tagore to interact with many notable personalities. So that includes Harry Bergson, Albert Einstein, Robert Force, Thomas Mann, George Bernard Shaw, H.G. Wells, Roman Roland. Tagore's last travels abroad, including visits of Persia and Iran, that is in 1932, and Ceylon in 1933. Ceylon, the present name is Sri Lanka, if I am not wrong. Only second his opinion regarding human divisions and nationalism. So that is what he is trying to do. And there are many things that, if Tagore has to be analyzed, he has to be analyzed in many dimensions. Tagore literary reputation is disproportionately influenced by regard of his poetry. However, he also wrote novels, essay, short stories. He talks about the travels, many things he has written about his travels, drama, thousands of songs, that is called the Tagore song, that is everybody knows. His short stories, many things he has covered up, all dimensions of life. So many things he has written. So novels and non-fiction kind of thing, Tagore wrote 8 novels, right? That is out of that 4 novels including Choturanga, right? Choturanga, Shesher Kovita, Charodhai, so Ghare Baire, Nauka Dubi. Those are these things, is very, very famous kind of write-up novels he has done. So then he was involved in kind of an Swadeshi movement, and a frank expression of Tagore's conflicted, how he was not, as I have told you, how he was not supporting the Swadeshi movement. He's supporting Swadeshi movement. Apart from this thing, he was trying to tell the world that we should be sincere enough to accept other things. He was trying to convince or convey those things to Mahatma Gandhi. Same philosophy to Subhash Chandra. He has also, at initial level, they had a conflict between Subhash Chandra and Tagore, because so they're coming from two different ideological things, where Subhash Chandra believes to have kind of an ideal worship, and Rabindranath is not accepting any kind of ideal worshipping that is coming from the root of Arya Samaj. Arya Samaj, where Tagore's family was involved. Subhash Chandra Bose was trying to do some kind of ideals because he is again follower of Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Devi and Sharada Devi. So again, those are kind of idea. They believe certain things. There is nothing to talk about, but they are in the opposite initial level, idea level. After that, he used to be very good well-wisher of Subhash Chandra Bose, and in 1939 he was strongly criticizing Mahatma Gandhi and his work or object, what he has done, even after Subhash Bose was electing second term's president for Congress. So again, he has not got the opportunity to serve because of this entire episode, Tripuri Congress, what had happened, that I have told many times. So those things are very, very, the part of history. Everybody knows that kind of a Mahatma Gandhi played what kind of role. Those things are known to everybody. So Subhash Chandra was eliminated. He resigned and parted away from Indian National Congress, from the forward bloc. And that time, Rabindranath Tagore, he was a great fan of Subhash Chandra, that for his heroic works, whatever he has done. So he was very proud man that Subhash Chandra was doing the right thing, that he has not compromised many things. So friends, Rabindranath, for analysis of Rabindranath, probably you need to have more time and more analytical power to analyze the whole thing. So as I have told you, he has written many things. He has covered up many issues of life, society, changing the society, his global view. His poetry talks about the knowledge, boundaryless knowledge. So those things are well documented thing. So it is true that Tagore was suffering from two things. One is nationalism and internationalism. Exactly his idea of nationalism, he is talking about a boundaryless society, a boundaryless country. He was not, that for him boundary is a kind of a imaginary thing that is not more important, more relevant. That is what he is feeling, and that is what the philosophy that he has taken. That's why every time he talks about a kind of a boundaryless society, the whole world should be your home. That is a very kind of a idealistic thinking that way. So he had not involved himself directly in the freedom movement. Whatever he has to say, he has spoken of through his writing. So maybe he is supporting some individual leaders, like as I have told you, Subhash Chandra Bose. So another thing is Gandhiji and Rabindranath, they are of different opinions because the idea. So non-violence thing, as I have told you, they want to, Gandhiji is totally opposing British through the non-violence. He is starting to do the Swadeshi Andolan. There are many things that had happened. So Tagore has a different opinion. Another thing is Tagore with Swami Vivekananda. So they have never ever met. It is told in this documented thing that whether Tagore is meeting Swami Vivekananda. Well, there are many places it is written that at childhood, because Tagore is from a very rich family, right? They used to have a lot of cultural activities at childhood when Swami Vivekananda was Naren, right? Narendra. that time they had little interaction at childhood. After that, when they are fully conscious, and what Swami Vivekananda, the philosophy that was holding, as I have told you, Subhash Chandra's idea of Hinduism is worshipping idols. So he's a strong nationalist that way, and the 100% that is transformation that is seen through Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. So I have told in my videos that if I have to analyze Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, he is a combination of Sharada Devi, Ramakrishna, and Swami Vivekananda. If you add up Ramakrishna plus Sharada Devi plus Swami Vivekananda is equal to Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. It is the simple equation probably one can draw. That is what it is. So in terms of idea. But that way, Rabindranath is not meeting consciously, that is the documented thing, to Swami Vivekananda, because their philosophical idea level, they are totally opposite. So that is what Tagore doesn't believe in a kind of ideals. Tagore has different opinions about the movement, that his concept was Hinduism was not there. So he was trying to, Tagore was not proposing kind of a Hinduism. Even he is the supporter of Hinduism. Ideally, he was trying to say that those things are very kind of irrelevant thing. So it is like you are supporting. There are many reports that is published in Times of India. I'm going to cover up the whole thing. What are the things? I know his view about nationalism or Hinduism, many other things. That is what it is written. Those things are I'm going to talk about on later stage of my discussion. So friends, what I was trying to tell, that Tagore is a well-traveled person, knowledgeable person, even though he doesn't have the formal education. So he went also abroad for gaining knowledge, US. That is for different purpose altogether, for setting up his vision for a kind of a university that is in India, in Santiniketan. So he could achieve that. That is a great thing that he has done it. Tagore, sorry, I'm extremely sorry. What to talk about Tagore? I am not a great historian. Probably I can talk many things about Tagore, but I definitely can talk about the poetry, the kind of poetry he has written, his Gitanjali or his Ravindra Sangeet. So I was reviewing few days back that Rabindranath's all kind of Ravindra Sangeet is in a different stage of life, whatever he has written. There are some songs are sadistics. If you critically analyze all those songs, it has got a conflict, contradictions, kind of a confusing things. There are many songs are straight, good. So again, those things have come up from his experience of his own life and journey. So not necessarily his views, strong views about, but it is for sure that he has got a strong feeling that India should be getting freedom in a better way. There should be a society, good society. The concept was there. In the literature, there are many places he has created some character, probably, as I have told you. He talks about what is his impression about the woman, as he is talking that there is a word that Mushalmaner Murgi Pusha Narir Bhalobasha. So he is trying to compare the love of a woman in terms of the Muslim is like cultivating or keeping chickens at home. It's everybody knows that What purpose? He is bringing some kind of religion over here also. So it is not only the Muslim, all communities, they keep chickens at home, they cultivate for their food. And if that has to be compared with the love of women, what he is trying to convey that is not understood by me. So is love of a woman, it is a kind of a pure thing in pure form. That is the true. It is not a subject of in a materialistic thing or kind of a eating object. So it is a very great kind of a negative way probably he was trying to see it. But historically, or if you are critically analyzing, so one can put a question mark over here. That is the view. The another view is, I was telling, his poetry is based on a lot of emotions. So if you put a dialectical thought process or a chaos theory over there, many things will be, the character will be under scrutiny or question, that what the message is trying to convey. Finally, whatever you write, it is not a kind of a fiction. You need to give a message to society. It is a kind of a direction to society. So those things are being lost in many ways. Another thing is, probably I want to tell you that his poetry is talking about Bengali poetry. I am trying to recall those things. Shok, hun, dol, pathan, Mughal, ek dehe holo লীন. So what he is trying to tell, Shok, hun, dol, pathan, Mughal, ek dehe holo লীন. He is telling that all the Shok means there are invaders. Shok, hun, dol, pathan, whoever has come from outside India and invaded India and has looted India many times. He's lying there, all immersed with India. They are part of the Indian society now. It's a very, very wrong thing that he has propagated in his poetry. So first of all, those peoples have not come to India because of the love or anything. For that matter, Pathan, Mughal, Shok, Hundal, they are basically the looters. The idea of coming to India is because like a British came to India. If people talk about the many historians, they try to project that British came to in India because they taught India, the idiots Indian, they have given a lot of enlightenment by giving education. This is one way of thinking, like, no, I have a house, so you come and you take out my things and you say that after that you leave a book, small book for me, and you say that you read this thing. See, first of all, the British came to in India for a pure background. They have come for business. So they have one motive and they know how to do business. For that matter, they have given education. They have not given education to everybody. So they know the creamy people whom they have given the high society people, Rai Chaudhuri, Rai Bahadur, Brahmin communities. And after that, British has given them the award. And those peoples have been used to control the poor Indians. So British has not given mass education. These historians must be given a total lesson today that you are being paid by whom that to write such kind of nonsense history, that the British has done a very great job. They are really, really hypocritic in writing such kind of things. I am not naming those historians. I think they are not qualified enough to write history. That is what I feel personally. I feel ashamed of telling all those things, that if somebody is telling British has given, they have made such a monumental thing like Howrah Bridge, all the good construction, Victoria Memorial and all those good places. Look, you earn 100 rupees and you spend 1 rupee for Indian, rest 98, 99 rupees you have taken away. So those kind of development, what you have done it for your own purpose, because you have stayed for a long time. when you are playing a long innings over here, it's a 5-day test match, like British has played 5-day test match, 300 years. It's a very, very long time. So long-term plan, they have done many things and many things they have taken away. So I'm not talking about the British. Only thing I am talking that the critic, whoever in favor of the British people, they have done a good job. I am trying to tell that. They can tell also that economic aggression, their invasion, it's a very good thing. That is not a good thing at all. So those things, why in 16th century all those things have come up? Because many issues. So many issues means those are the professional looters, right? In the name of economic aggression or business, they have tried to propagate Christianity throughout the world. They have captured it. That histories are known to everybody. So friends, what I was trying to talk about, I'm not going to talk about the British people, what they have done. Probably I can take a separate session. Probably I have taken those things in my YouTube channel, that MindLab, it is already there. Here what I'm trying to talk about Tagore, specifically his statement, he's not well informed, or probably while he was writing the poetry, he was trying to get a kind of a rhyme like no Sa, Khun, Dal, Pathan, Mughal, Ag, Dehe, Hololin. So he needs to separate out what is guest and what is host and what is parasite. Those things are to be understood by Tagore well. He is a well knowledgeable person. How can, if some thieves are coming at my home, and after few years if I write, they are very good people, like all those chores are coming at my house and they come and occupy my house, very nice thing they have done. Is it this the way of thinking about the whole thing? He could have put little more logic about the whole thing. That is what I was trying to tell over here. Nothing more. Whatever he has to write, he has written it. So today we can talk about those things, how relevant those things are. For me, till if I analyze history critically, for me, Shah, Hun, Dal, Pathan, the great Pathans, Mughals. So if somebody is telling Mughals are also very good, they have come to in India from outsider and invaded India and has ruled India for more than 200 years. So that is a good part probably they have done. If any historian is telling, probably it is his wisdom from his limited knowledge. I can say this much. So it is not a good wisdom rather. So Mughals have the motive, and okay, they have, by default they have stayed. Like you come to my house to steal certain things, then you stay because you like this place, right? So liking is part, because your place is very bad. So British has not done. They have not stayed here because they are white skinned people. They don't like to mix up with this so-called, say they talk about bloody Indians, right? We are all idiots though. Whatever they want to extract, they have taken all extraction and gone to their own places. And many countries, place like Australia, South Africa, they found those are very good place. A lot of British people, they have stayed back there. In India, you won't find a single British fellow is roaming on street and having tea at Calcutta, College Street, or Bhawanipur, or in Delhi, some Charahe, Kannauj place. You won't find any British family they are leaving, right? All they have left in 1947, along with Lord Mountbatten and his all things they have taken away. So whatever damage they have to do, they have done it. My only submission is Tagore is a great man. He is a great philosopher. So his contradictions are many. I told about his poetry. I have taken up 10 of his songs. Those songs talks about the love, the concept of love is too much embedded in thing like. So if you have to pursue something, if somebody is leaving you, you be after that. Whole day and night you be after that. See what kind of love he wants to propagate. Probably he knows. I have explained in my video. That is more confusing for young generation or for old generation. Those are very, very sadistic. Those songs are very good. If you really try to find out the meaning out of it, those songs are very, very dangerous song, probably, I feel. So if Tagore has to be analyzed in totality, his views in terms of nationalism, internationalism, his idea of India, there are a lot of theoretical things. His perception was not very much clear what could be. He doesn't have vision of India. You could have written a good vision documents of India, his idea of India. He has tried to portray many characters through his known novels. Many other things he has done it. But such a person, well-traveled person, he got that kind of exposure to interact with great minds. Probably he could have given little more thought about the India, his idea of India. That way, Subhash Chandra Bose, if I compare, he has got a vision for India. His things are very clear that what kind of India he wants, what kind of society he wants, what kind of protection he wants, which way he wants to do it. That is called the execution. He has got the proper rational thinking. Probably Subhash Bose was influenced by dialectical thought process or chaos theory. He is a very intelligent person. In terms of knowledge, Subhash Bose and Rabindranath Tagore, even though there is, in terms of educational qualification, Subhash Chandra was much more at higher level compared to Rabindranath. In terms of knowledge, let me very, very frank and honest about the whole thing. So he is very clear. The clarity was there. And Rabindranath, he brought a lot of Maya and all kind of emotions over there. His write-up, his mysticism, emotion, dukkhavadi. So you get into depression. Depression is a kind of thing one can enjoy, like in the pleasure of depression. You can enjoy the depression. That is what it's like. It's a kind of taking steroids and a kind of thing. You get into little relaxation. So depression terminology itself is very depressive that way. So his songs, like if you take out the greatest good songs or good Rabindra Sangeet, after having 2-3 songs, you will be getting into a very kind of a sleepy mode or any kind of a depressed mode. So that reflections probably that is shown in Tagore's literature. I personally feel that it is not good for the young minds, right? So it can be, they can channelize in a different way. I have analyzed Jivananda Das also, that his poetry is a very much kind of a slow, very depressed, talking about all those things. If this is not giving any kind of hope for somebody, anybody is writing a good poetry or good novel, I'm not talking about anything that you don't write about a creative, but the better poetry, better novel or better write-up, the impression that you are giving to the society, direction or the main objective of this thing. Okay, if you are dealing with individual life, two character, what is going on, the relation, those things are the conflict, the materialistic thing, that is his personal life. Here I am talking about Rabindranath as a person in terms of nationalism, internationalism. These things are views has to be taken into different dimension. Those personal character writing something, those are probably, it's an interest for the literature. I do not have any issues, but when I analyze Tagore in a viewpoint of his views on nationalism, views for India, I find rather than few statements here and there, Tagore has also, those statements are there, but actively he has never ever participated for the freedom movement, giving away his prize, his knighthood and other things after this Jallianwala Bagh tragedy, all those things. Those things are good or bad. I do not like to get into that debate part. If you hate British at first of all, then why do you accept knight? So first of all, you have to be principally clear, where Subhash Chandra Bose was principally clear that British is my enemy. No way I am going to compromise. You cannot have two things. You accept some knighthood and you go all kind of, you can meet all those people. I don't deny that you are meeting. Those are all good things. But you have to take a principle stand in your life, that what is that ideology you are holding. Here I talked about Swami Vivekananda is not meeting Rabindranath Tagore. Can you imagine this thing can happen? Swami Vivekananda is not meeting Rishi Aurobindo. So those are the possibilities that I am talking about. It is not necessarily two individuals has to meet together to discuss certain things, but there are a lot of ideological differences between all the personalities. Like that, why Mahatma Gandhi is also, because of this non-violence part I was saying, he has compromised a lot of things with British. That is, Tagore has understood all those things. Subhash Chandra has understood. Rishi Aurobindo has understood the whole thing. But one thing, Swami Vivekananda, he was never ever directly fought against the British for whatever reason, because that's why he is talking about the spiritualism. His views are totally different. His Hinduism concept, going to Chicago and all those places, his ideas are talking humanity globally, those things. That's why Vivekananda is another one dimension ahead compared to Rabindranath and all those things, sir. They all wanted to have a better society, that is fine, but if you compare with individual to individual, one to another, there are a lot of differences. The kind of another things everybody is forgetting about the whole thing. Tagore has never ever faced problem financially at home. He is from a very wealthy family. So that luxury probably he was having. So he got enough time, even though the lot of estate responsibility was given, and he used to get this job done through others. So he has never ever involved with anything like, no, I have to go morning today and do this exercise. So he has a big property across India. It has to be maintained. So maintained by the people, like a landlord. He is from a Jamindar system. So he has got that luxury. For that purpose, probably he could travel those many countries. 33 countries he is traveling. You can imagine that time he is traveling by ship, sometime by plane. Most of the time he is traveled by ship. So how many days, how many years with accompanying 3-4 people together. So that money is self-sponsored. Government of India that time under British, nobody has given him money that you visit 35 countries. So he has taken his own money. So a good number of money, good money probably he has. And he has done it. He got a lot of time to write all those things while traveling. So wherever he goes, he carries a diary and a notebook. So wherever he stays and sleep and all those things, he was writing because he got that liberty to write. But in case of the other things, Swami Vivekananda, first of all, Vivekananda has got a very short life, 39 years. So you finish 20 years, you try to develop your consciousness at 20. So 39 plus 20, 39 minus 20 is coming out to be 10 plus 9, 19 years for whatever things he was done. That is tremendous thing. That way, if you see the life of Rabindranath is very too long. Similarly, Subhash Chandra Bose, he could not survive probably because of many. He is a controversial figure. Controversial in that sense that I was telling that 1939 is a turning point of Indian political history that is given separate safe. The umpire is a Dicky Barden, Mahatma Gandhi, played a role of a typical umpire. So, who has given a deliberate out or back door or front door, whichever door, to Subhash Chandra Bose. It is philosophically one need to understand that Mahatma Gandhi had played a big tricks and political game or political corruption, and his emotional placard, he has done it, and he knows that Subhash Chandra will be greater threat for him. He has done the best of the things in 1939 in Tripuri Congress, and that time I told in my many videos that he is the first political corruption, and in the Indian National Congress that had happened, the initiator is Mahatma Gandhi. So friends, I am not again to. That's why Rabindranath is very much annoyed with Mahatma Gandhi, his act. So that way, Rabindranath, I feel, is a much more fairer person. So I have analyzed the history of 1885 to 2020, from Mahatma Gandhi to Modi ji. There I have talked about all those people and personalities, what kind of role they have played. I have taken up also Rabindranath there, Mahatma Gandhi, Subhash Chandra, Jawaharlal Nehru, and other Gandhian family members, how the emotionally card played that Gandhiji's emotional attachment to Nehru family, that is not understood by me. I only told it's emotionally. If you are emotionally motivated something, you are giving your emotions first, Mayabad. So the preferences, who is good and who is bad, that rationality, that dialectical thought process, that is lost by Mahatma Gandhi. So in this process, the dynamics of history, that is totally changed in my opinion. Given a particular situation, what everybody was thinking to have kind of a unified India, probably that dream has shattered in 1939. That is what I was telling. This one over is the turning point of the whole game, the dynamics that is changed in my own opinion. I might be wrong, but I'm very confident that this is probably the analysis what I want to say over here. I got an opportunity to speak with myself today. So I have spoken close to 8 hours today. So for many reasons, sitting in my MindLab, nobody is there. So it is good that I am speaking. That is a good part probably. So each character has to be taken into consideration, their responsibilities. As I was telling that in present day, what is the relevance of Tagore for the new generation? The way we are propagating Tagore, that has to be taken seriously, because a society's direction has to be, if you are liking some personal thing, but it is sometime it happened that Tagore songs has been highlighted on roadside, traffic signal, those songs are being played. It's directly imposed. A state cannot impose such kind of things. It's propagating some philosophy, in my opinion. The likings for literature is to be given to the individual choice. I don't mind somebody is getting into depression song or novels or whatever, it is their personal choice. But a society or a government cannot do all kind of things that what is happening across Bengal and few parts of Bengal. It is very common. Those songs are, I heard those songs on roadside, traffic signal. So those kind of very kind of disturbing thing, what I feel personally, and government should take up those matter immediately. And I was trying to compare Tagore, his literature critic, what he has started at the age of 6, 7, 8, whatever he has written. I will have separate discussion about. I was also writing poetry. It is not to compare with two individual. I want to analyze the content of his poetry with a very rational thinking, dialectical way. And I have also written few poetries. I don't claim those are poetries. Whatever I have written at the age of 15, 16 to till 22, I want to have one or two or three lectures on those things, taking a few specific poetries of Tagore and some poetry myself. Friends, my purpose of discussing all those things are very, very simple, that I'm going through lot of things. I've been analyzing 3000 years of history and our freedom movement, many things. Those personalities are coming into the picture. They have direct role to play, and they have played direct role in freedom movement. The kind of my self-assessment, it is not going to tell the whole world to accept what I am speaking. I am nobody. Again, every time I say I am nobody to take somebody's credit, because you have your own idea about the Rabindranath. I have my own idea about the Rabindranath. For that matter, you have own idea about Subhash Chandra, Mahatma Gandhi, for that matter, any individual, even for Jinnah. You might be following all those things. I have my own opinion. I have told that Indian freedom movement, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Mahatma Gandhi or Jawaharlal Nehru, is the creation by British. They are the mouthpiece. So we should not blame those poor people. Like, if you are creating somebody in time zone, they are the victims probably. They have not understood. They have not exercised their philosophy. They are motivated directly. They could not realize what is good and what is bad. Whatever things they have got for the power, they have done it. So those mistakes have been done, and it has been seen also. Many ways they have tried to. It is not they are very good leaders. I have told in my many videos. So Mahatma Gandhi was also eager to get Nobel Prize, so that he has put a lot of Congressy, his well wishers, they have routed their Nobel Prize nomination 5 times. And 1948, before his death, he was shot by Nathuram Godse. So his dream was shattered, because it was just this 1948 very crucial time, and he could not submit his nominations 5th time. So they are blaming that Nathuram Godse is taken away one Nobel Prize and one life. So I have my own opinion about the whole thing. That is a separate thing altogether. Similar way, Jawaharlal Nehru also applied for Nobel Prize. I have told, I have made a long video, not once, twice, thrice, four, 12 times he is applying. He has not got 12 times. He is putting his own nomination, being as a Prime Minister of India from 1947 to till his death, 12 times. So he has not got a single person put somebody's nominations. So I had put a lot of question marks. My friends, I am not getting again into this kind of Gandhi family, what they have done. What they have done, it is done. Probably nobody has analyzed all those things, or it is analyzed, not been told in a very clear terms, because if you pay somebody to write history in your favor, nobody is going to write all those things, but it has to be understood. So friends, here Tagore, I am talking about Tagore. Probably government can take up his specific write-off from his literature, which is good and giving good direction to the society. Those kind of things probably they can propagate. And rest thing, it can be left with individual whether to take up those depressive kind of poetry, depressive kind of Tagore songs into their life, because you cannot knock everybody's house that what you are listening. So that cannot be told, but when a nation is coming or a state is coming, something want to propagate, probably the good part can be taken. There are many good things that Tagore has written that I have told you. I'm talking about few things. That is what I felt. Probably it is. Maybe others might be feeling in a different way. This is my feeling. Always you can take out a person is not 100% right every time. Any individual that way, if you see, any character, if you see, for that matter, great people in this world, if you see it, nobody's work is 100% right or perfect. So whatever great work somebody has done, that has to be taken into consideration. That is what I was about to tell. And those kind of projection has to be given, that those are good works that is helping for the society, helping for the motivating the young generation or motivating young minds or the old generation, whoever might be. That can be some kind of thing. Imagine if you are going on roadside in a Bengal and driving car, suddenly you hear a song like সেদিন দুজনে দুলেছুনু বনে ফুলো জোরে বাঁধা ঝুলনা, or whatever, or any sad song. So what is going to happen if you are a Tagore lover or songs lover, whatever things? So you will meet with an accident. That is what I was trying to tell you. Accident means this will be a kind of a fatal thing. So those things are not good. First of all, songs, it is again personal choice. Sorry, it is not for the public domain with a speaker kind of thing. Those things are foreign countries and all, it is not at all there. So you like many things in life, not necessarily one has to impose certain things and impose kind of a sad song that is running on roadsides. Friends, I am not getting into that more debate about Bengal. I will have a special review on Bengals. Here I am talking about Rabindranath, and majority are Bengali speaking people. They are the followers of Rabindranath. Beyond that, if there are translation in many ways, there might be some follower probably, but majority share is going to the Bengali. Whoever is speaking Bengali, they understand Tagore little better way. If this young generation has to learn about Rabindranath, one thing is for sure, that they should be given a direction with a whoever is analyzing Tagore, the good part of Tagore, probably they can publish a separate book of collection of good works of Rabindranath Tagore. That is for the new generation probably, so that they get encouragement by going through such kind of thing. That can be done, collection of good works, what somebody's wisdom says. Friends, I want to end up now this Rabindranath discussion. I will have separate presentation in my society, science and technology. This is one of my presentation I have already delivered two. This is in light of chaos theory and dialectical thought process. I am analyzing all those things. So whatever I have to talk about Rabindranath, it is not to again attack Rabindranath, a small person. I am a very kind of a small insect. Tagore is a kind of an elephant. How does it matter if a kind of an insect is trying to bite an elephant? It doesn't bother him. Oh, he is not there. He should not, doesn't bother his well-wisher or critic too also. So friends, I want to conclude by saying Tagore is great. I love him, love his creation, literature, but in today's society, little segregation is required, and before state is propagating his things in a his songs specially, those things cannot be imposed. I am deadly against about the whole thing. Once again, thank you very much for hearing me out. So it's a very long, tiring session for me for last 22 hours. Probably I do not have any kind of script. That is my problem, and it is very, very difficult to make a script at the end of the day. I have lost the habit of writing something. So whatever I am speaking, this is an extempo. Whatever things I have in my backup, I am speaking. So I am extremely sorry if I have done something wrong in terms of disrespecting or respecting. I have full respect for Tagore, no doubt. He is our wealth. So I should not, I own this thing. He's the wealth of India. So we are so proud about the whole thing. There is absolutely no doubt. Again, thank you very much and good morning to everybody. I wish your comments and many things. I'll try to translate this thing into Bangla so that for my Bengali, whoever, I try to explain the whole situation, what I have spoken about the whole thing. Once again, thank you very much. Bye bye. Take care.